Okay, good news. We've officially reached the halfway point. We've taken all the parts out without removing the engine mounts, without having to remove the engine mounts. And that's very cool because that would be a total pain to have to do that. Have to figure out how to support the engine, use a cherry puller, or I was going to use this jack that I bought, but um, it's a lot safer and those engine mounts look like they don't come out very easily. So anyway, let's start putting the parts back in. So here's our box from ID Parts, and let's take a look in here. Okay, so the most difficult thing for me to get out was the idler pulley. And so I think that's going to be the first thing I put back in, because that is the fly in the ointment. That's the thing that makes it impossible normally for you to do this change without removing the engine mounts. So let's get our idler pulley. These are the new parts from ID Parts, and can't remember, this tab goes into this. There's a slot in there, so you got to get that tab lined up with that slot. Okay, so we got our new pulley here, and it looks like they have also, in their infinite wisdom, provided a new threaded rod thing right in the bag. Let me get it out of here. Okay, so here's our threaded rod thing, and there we go. Look, a brand new one. Okay, and remember, this has got to go in through the back, that pulley, and we have to insert this whole unit like this in between the motor mount and the motor, and see, there's where the threaded rod goes down there. So remember, we took it out down there. Let's take a look. So here's that threaded rod hole that it's got to go into, and then there's this tab down here, this hole, and that is where this tab thing here goes, that rectangular hole. So we gotta put this in as a unit, slide it down in here into place, and without dropping that threaded rod, and then I'll try to screw that threaded rod into that hole where it came out of. See that? And I'm going to have to put the camera down for that, because, oh god, I'm going to drop it. So there's where the hole it goes, and the threaded rod, and I'm going to have to line that up and screw it in there, and then I'm going to have to probably tighten it with my vice grips up here. Okay, so let's see if we can get that in that hole down there, and start screwing it in. Okay, there we go. So I got the pulley back in there and into the threaded rod hole, and I was able to get it in a few turns, so I can show you that. It was not an easy thing to do. It took me both hands squeezing in there, holding the thing up with like these fingers back here, and then twisting it with my tippy fingers on both hands, and it was you know, a task for Harry Houdini probably, but I was able to get it on there, so it is possible. And I'm just gonna screw this thing in some more, and then when I get it all the way in, I'll just tighten it up with the pliers, and then we'll be able to go on to the next step. And I need a torque wrench probably for the rest of the pulleys that I'm going to stick back in. Actually, maybe I'll do the water pump next, because that does not need a torque wrench, I don't think. Just try to see if we can. I don't know if you can see down there. I can't see down there. It is a difficult task to see in there. Okay. So anyway, we're getting that threaded rod screwed in, and I'll use the pliers to tighten her up, get her all in place. Okay, so I have that threaded rod all the way screwed in now, and now I'm going to use a pair of pliers to tighten that up, because you do not want that to come loose while you're driving down the road or something. That will destroy your engine. Make sure that is good and tight. And anyway, I use these pliers to tighten it up because that is the only way I can get to it. Okay. Actually, I'm going to correct myself. I'm going to call these vice grips, which is actually what they are. I know someone will probably watch the whole video and say, oh, even though it's so amazing that you changed this whole thing without removing the motor mounts, you called those pliers instead of vice grips. So, well, I'm trying to concentrate on doing the job here and talking and holding the camera at the same time. So I called these pliers, but they're actually vice grips. And make sure that's good and tight, because you don't want that to come out. Anyway, and we'll get on to the next step. Okay, I got that threaded rod started into that engine block there, and it was not easy, but I can tell you it was probably a whole lot easier than taking off those engine mounts and lifting that engine up and supporting it, and a lot cheaper because I didn't need that special equipment in a garage or whatever. Probably wouldn't be able to change it in the parking lot like this if I had to do something like that, because the neighbors would be all, what the heck is that? So anyway, let me screw this threaded rod the rest of the way in, and then I'll probably tighten it up with my vice grips up here, and put the bolt, get it lined up, put the bolt on it, and we should be all set with this guy. Let me get that screwed in and move on. Okay, so there I have the threaded rod screwed all the way in, and I'm gonna see, I got the pulley slid forward, and I'm just gonna grab at the back. See, I don't want to mess up the threads at the front, and I am going to tighten this thing up. You do not want this to come loose while you're driving, because that will for sure destroy your engine. So make sure it's good and tight. I don't have a torque spec for the vice grips, so do this at your own risk. Anyway, there we go. We'll make sure that's good and tight, and then we'll get that tab lined up in the back and put the nut on. Okay, got the wheel back off here, and let's just see if we can see up inside. Over here, see that pulley? Oh yeah, see that engine mount is so annoying. Gosh. Anyway, so see, I don't see there's a tab there. And that tab has got to go into this rectangular hole. See if I can see that. Gosh. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so here's the rectangular hole. And see my fingers in there. Maybe I can see it better from the top. See, there's that rectangular hole in the back here. See that? Right back there. Right behind the pulley. And there is a tab. See, I don't know if I'll rotate around that far so you can see it, but okay, so see this tab thing here goes into that rectangular hole back there. Right there under the threaded rod. So let me see if I can get that lined up and push that in. I may have to do it by feel. Okay. Make sure that tab is in the back. So it won't go down properly, I don't think, unless it's in that tab. That tab in that hole. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can see it from another angle. I think I have that in position because the threaded rod is coming out the front, almost a centimeter. You can see that. See that right there? The threaded rod is definitely coming out the front there. And let's take a look down here, see if we can see it from underneath the motor mount. So there's a pulley. It's hard to see the tab from this side. Oh gosh. I can go under here. See if I can see it. There's a pulley. Okay, see there's the pulley, and it looks like the tab is in that slot it's supposed to be in. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so. Come on. Okay, yeah. I can definitely feel it. It's in the slot up there. Oh. Okay. So there, the pulley is in the slot. That tab thing. Okay. I think we are all set to put the nut on the end of that threaded rod. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. I think we're all set to put the nut on the end of that threaded rod. Okay, again, here is the bag of the hardware that they provided. And this nut here looks like the same nut that I took off. Let me just, I made a hole here in the bag. Get it out. Okay. So I think that looks like the same nut that I took off of that tensioner pulley when I took it apart. And so let me see if I can stick this one back onto that threaded rod without dropping it. Okay. Let me put the camera down. Okay, looks like I got it in there, and I had to use several fingers to do it. And it was not easy, but it was possible. Okay. Yeah, we'll get that tightened down, and I'll have to see if there's a torque spec, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get a torque wrench in on that thing. So I'm going to have to wait and look at that. And if I can't get a torque wrench, I'll just have to use my calibrated crescent wrench to try to torque it down. Okay. There's not a lot of clearance between those things. Okay. Now it looks like from the hardware bag I'm supposed to replace some other threaded rods. So I may have to remove, it looks like that pulley down there was on a threaded rod, because they provided a second threaded rod. I don't know if you can see it down there. See that threaded rod? There's actually one of those in the bag, so I may need to pull that one off and replace that one as well. See down there? That threaded rod down there. Okay, so I guess maybe the next thing to do is get the water pump back in place. And so we have a new water pump here. It's so shiny and brand new. Let's take a look at this one compared to the old one. Here There's the old one. Oh, new one and old one. Okay, how beautiful. What did that say? Made in Germany. Alright. Okay. Put that one back in the junk box, and here we go. Wow, very cool, huh? So we can get this guy back up inside that hole where it came out of. Okay, there's that hole. Okay. And we will try to bring that new guy back up in there. Oh gosh. Oh my god. That's right, it was not easy to get it in there. Okay, I may have to put the camera down to get this guy in there. Anyway, I think maybe I brought him in from the top. Did I bring him in from the top last time? Might have brought this guy in from up here. Maybe it's easier to bring it in like this. I don't know. It's not easy either way. Okay, anyway. Let me fiddle with that. Okay, so anyway, I was able to feed it up through the bottom, and I got it kind of sitting in there. And I think I can reach it now through here and kind of get it positioned into place. Look at that. Okay. I'll get the bolts lined up. And we'll see if we can bolt that guy into place. Okay, so let's take a look here. I'm gonna come up from underneath. I think these bolts are not lined up. We gotta get it lined up like so. Okay, then I can push it in. I can feel the O-ring starting the seat now. I got those bolts lined up. Okay. There we go, yeah. Maybe I'll try to get some of those bolts in the holes. And then push it in. Okay. Okay, again. So I did order. What happened here? Okay, so I did order all the bolts because my buddy recommended replacing all the bolts. It's probably a good idea because some of these break, it could ruin your engine as well. So if you're going to do the job, you might as well do it right. And it looks like there is water pump bolts in there as well. And let's take a look here. Okay, so here's our bag. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was the ones that look like this. So I'll get those out and put those into the water pump. There's 2, and there should be a total of 3. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can get these bad boys into that water pump. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay, there we go. Here's the water pump. And try to get the first one in there. Okay. Get it in the hole, come on. Okay, there we go. Get it lined up. Come on. And, okay, come on. May have to put something down to get this in there. Okay, so it looks like I got that one in place. And it's going in. There. Okay. And maybe I'll try to get Seems like one of these is fairly difficult to get to. Okay, so there is our water pump right there. And come in from the top here. Looks like I can get to this top bolt right here, like so. Come on. See there. There's the top of the water pump, and come in here like so to get that bolt in there. Oh, come on. Okay, so I was having troubles holding it in place, and so I think maybe I'll stick it inside of a 10mm socket and try to use that to help me screw it into that hole. See if I can get it into that top hole down there in the water pump right there. Okay. Anyway, it was kind of falling out, so I picked a piece of grass and just stuck it in between there to take out the slack, because you could use a piece of paper, but I didn't have one. We'll see if we can fit that stupid thing into the hole down there. You see that? Gosh. Okay, there, I think I got it in. Oh, wow. Okay, see, I got that into the hole down there, and let's see if we can tighten that thing up. Okay. And there's our water pump. See if we can get that in the top hole there. Okay, so it looks like we were able to get that bolt into that top hole up there. See that? Look at that. Very cool, huh? So that's the second bolt. And I'll see if I can get the third bolt in, which is kind of on the front of this thing. I don't know. It's not very super accessible. Okay, so you can see the bolt hole there. And maybe I'll use that same trick to try to get that bolt in there as well. Okay, here is our last bolt, and I'm going to try to come up under here and get it in position out this way. Going down through here. So much fun. Okay, let me put the camera down and make sure I can get this lined up. Okay. Okay, so I think I got that socket and bolt on that last bolt hole. See, that's where it goes. See, the socket is right there, right next to the gear. And I'll just try to tighten that up a little bit. Get in there. Okay. I can't see it, but okay, anyway. Yeah, it's real tight in there. Anyway, let me get that bolt in place. Okay, so I believe we have that final bolt in place. Let's take a look down there. Okay, it's hard to see it, but it's a little black bolt down in the left hand corner there. Okay, maybe we can see it better here. There we go. Got that last bolt in place. And I'll have to see if there's torque specs on that. Torque those up. Okay. Okay, so I didn't see a torque spec on the water pump, so I'm just going to tighten it up as much as possible. Again, this is a 10mm. See if it says it on there. Okay, there we go, 10mm. Okay, so we got a 10mm ratchet, and let's just tighten up the bolts on this water pump. See if we can get in there and tighten that up. Okay, Oh, I might need the extender to get in there. It looks like it's a little bit short. Okay, we just needed a couple inches more, so let's get that guy in there. Get it on that nut. And we'll tighten her up. Oh, come on. Hopefully we'll get all these tightened up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so there we go. Let's tighten that one up. Okay. And that's the side one. And I'll try to get it to... Okay. Here, we're getting this last bolts tightened up with the ratchet here. There we go. Okay, there we go. Get the last bolts of the water pump tightened up with the Allen or ratchet here. Okay. And there we go. Let's move on to the next step. Okay, so it looks like it just arrived. And let's take a look here. Get this thing open. Send a little box inside of a big box. Oh, there we go. And here is our torque wrench that we're going to need for finishing that job on the Volkswagen. Okay, very cool. And I think I only paid about $25 for this. I'll have to check this out. Okay. Okay, so let's open up this guy. We'll take a look at it. And we'll get her open and get her done, right? Okay, so it's got some kind of cardboard sleeve over that. And look at that. Okay, so that's 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. Oh, how exciting. Because about half of my sockets are 3/8. And here's a little extender. And here is the manual. I'll just throw that away, right? Because real men don't need to read the directions. Well, we'll just take a look quickly, just in case. Okay, so what we got here? Okay, foot-pound example. So it tells you how to set the foot-pounds. And something important here. Breakdown wrench adjustment calibration without proper equipment can damage the wrench internal parts. Okay, whatever. And here, look at this. Here's our wrench. Let's take a look at this bad boy here. Precision tool. Okay, so here's some more warnings here. Do not this. Okay, and I guess we basically, there we go. Oh shit, just sat on my robot. Okay, hopefully he's okay. Okay, so I guess we can twist this guy, and that changed the torque settings here. And oh, I see. It works a lot better if you loosen this guy up. So that sets it in place, so the torque doesn't change. Okay. So you can loosen this end thing up and then twist the torque and screw it in and out. And maybe I should stick it under the light under here. Let's take a look here. Get these things out of the way. Okay, there we go. There's a separate video. Okay, so here is our torque wrench. I wonder if I can stick it on macro. And there we go. So we have different settings. You can screw it in, and it has like, oh, it's hard for me to read those. I guess the lighter settings are down here, and the heavier settings are down here. And it's in maybe newtons and pounds. Of course, that, you know, torque is always like foot pounds or newton meters, because that's the right unit for torque. Because torque is force times radial arm. Okay, very cool. We'll have to try that guy out, see how he works. Okay, so this is one side of the wrench, and it looks like this one is in foot pounds. See, it says foot pounds there. Foot pounds, and you flip it over on the other side, and this one is Newton meters. See, Newton meters right there. And so I believe, so where we loosen up this guy here a little bit, and we want to go to 18 foot-pounds for our first roller. And so see, there's the 10 and the 0. See, 10. So I believe that's 12, 14, or maybe that's 16, 18. Maybe that's 10 right there. Okay. Oh, I see. 10 is between those lines. Okay, so we're not up to 10. So see, 10 has that low line and the high line. Okay. So that would be, let's get her up to 10. Okay. There's 10. It's at the low line. 12. 14. 16. 18. Okay. So it's almost up to 20. Almost up to the 20 low line. Okay. And I think we should be set to go for the first roller. Okay, so here's our old small pulley, and it's got that kind of pointy bolt there, and let's get out our new pulley. So here's our new pulley, and we have one of these pointy bolts in here. Let's take a look. Yeah, right there. Okay, so we got our new bolt out, and I think that bag was in this one. And here's our new pulley. Okay. And I'm not sure if there's a preferred direction here. They look both the same to me. Maybe I'll try sticking around and see how it fits. Okay, the bolt fits in there. And let's get this pulley into place. That pulley goes right up there, like so. Excellent. And we'll try torquing that thing down with our new torque wrench here. Gotta get the right socket on there first. Okay, excellent. Okay, here we go. So here's a 13 millimeter, and it looks like that one fits onto here. Okay. So let's get that on our torque wrench, and we'll torque that guy up. Here's our torque wrench here. And this one happened to be the right size for that one, so I don't need the adapter. And let's get this guy on there. Maybe I'll come in from the top like so. Try torquing this guy up. Of course, I'm using the 6.1, so you got to get it on just right. Got to hit it just right. Okay. Okay, it does have a preferred direction so you can ratchet it. Excellent. Okay, of course it'll make a clinking sound when you hit the torque limit, like so. And I think we're done with that one. Okay, so let's replace the big roller now. And here's the old big roller. And oops, here's the bolt that was in it. And it looks like they provided a new bolt. It's exactly the same inside of our bag thing here. Okay. And let's take a look. So here's our new roller. Okay. Oops. And I think we're all set to go. So we got to get our new roller into that position down there. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. Like so. Get the bolt lined up. The hole. Okay. And then I'll have to get my ratchets out and the torque wrench because we got to torque this down. Plus a quarter turn. Okay. And that's going to be a little bit tricky maybe to do the quarter turn because you got all these hoses and stuff in the way. Okay, for some reason it seems like this bolt down here takes a standard size, 5/8. The other ones, the metrics, seem to be too big or too small. Let's see. Yeah, see, 5/8 fits on there snug. Okay. Of course, this is a 3/8 drive, so I guess we'll have to use our adapter here and put those guys together like so. Come on. Anyway. And we'll get that on our torque wrench. And I guess we'll try torquing this bolt up. Get this thing in there. Okay, I'm gonna have to use two hands because I gotta hold the ratchet on the one side to get it tightened up. Here, we'll just get in there now. Let's put it on the side of this hose thing. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna get the slack out of the bolt. Use the ratchet to get it in place. Okay. Okay. it's starting to tighten up now. Okay, there we go. And then we got to do 1/4 turn on top of that. Okay, there. I think that was about a 1/4 turn. Okay, so I think I got that pulley on there. Let's take a look. Okay. So we have our pulley in place again. So we got the top pulley at 18 foot-pounds. And I think we're doing pretty good so far. Okay, so let's take a look down here. I think that they sent me enough hardware to replace all of these threaded rods, including this one. So let me try to pull that one off, because we have a new one in the back. And if any of these things break, it destroys your engine, so it probably won't hurt. These things undergo a lot of stress. Let me use my vice grips to pull this thing off. Okay. And there we go. We'll just loosen that guy up and take him out. Okay. We'll spray him with some penetrating oil first. See if that helps. Okay, maybe let that sit for a little bit and then try to get it out. Okay. Okay, so I think we're turning now. And, oh gosh. Get this thing out of there. Okay, it looks like, whoops, looks like I got it out. Okay, so there's the hole where it was, and where did it drop? It dropped down there. Okay, okay, so here's our threaded rod, and I believe we have one exactly like that in the kit that we got. Let's take a look back here. Okay, so there we go, look at that. Let's get it out of the bag, I guess. There's the hole in the bag. Whatever. Okay, let's get it out of the bag. Come on. Okay. Okay, so there we go. There's our new bolt. And here's the one I just pulled out. So it looks like it is exact match. So let's get that one back in. And I guess that last one's probably the nut for this final pulley. Okay. Okay, I probably want to be careful not to chew up the threads also. Okay, come on. Oh god, it's really hard to reach up there. Okay, where's that hole? Okay, again, there's a cam. It's a little bit northwest of the cam. And let me just get it back in that hole, okay? Might need 2 hands to screw that in. So maybe I got it. Okay. Let me screw that in. And then use the vice grips. Be careful not to ruin the threads, I guess. Okay. I think we're getting close to being done. Okay, so it seems like it took forever to screw this thing down. But okay, see, there's our camshaft, and there's our post, and I have it tightened up pretty good. And I think that's the final turn right there. Make sure it's good and tight. Okay. And then we'll be ready to put the new pulley on. We'll have all new hardware in here. Okay. Very cool, huh? Okay, so I probably should check before I get this thing completely assembled. Make sure that there's no leaks in the water pump that I just put in. Make sure the O-ring got seated right. And they did send me some new antifreeze. And this is undiluted. So you need to mix this 50-50 with water. And I'm just going to put some in there and then put some water in here and mix it up. But let's just check to see if our water pump is leaking or not. Okay. So we lost pretty much all of our antifreeze when we pulled that water pump off. And it's got some kind of child-proof cap, so I'm going to have to figure out how to open that up. So let me fiddle with that. Okay, so there we go. Official VW antifreeze. And let's just pour some in. Look at that, how beautiful. Again, I'll have to dilute that with water. 50-50 probably. That's about half a bottle. Just to check to see if that thing is leaking down there. Guess I could have put water in there to check that. Okay. Okay, whatever. Let's just take a look under here, make sure nothing's dripping. There's our water pump. And I've not seen anything coming out. I think I'm going to put water in there and mix it up 50-50 and get this whole thing filled up. So I want to make sure that that is not leaking before I get this reassembled, because that will be a nightmare to get back to that water pump again. Okay. Okay, again, I don't see any leaking. I added some more. So hopefully we're good to go. Okay, so I think it's almost time for us to put the belt on, but I believe they provided some extra, well, when I ordered the parts, I ordered all the extra bolts as well, because my buddy recommended doing that. So you don't, if any of these bolts fail while the car is running, then you lose your engine, right? And I believe, yep. Look, these bolts are provided with when you order the extra bolts. And so let's replace these bolts. And I won't tighten them down yet because you need to tighten them after you get the belt in place, because these cogs are designed to rotate some, right? So you can get the belt and on there, and then lock them down when they're in the right place. These pins are holding it in place there. Okay, and so let's get a new bolt out of the bag if I can do that. And I'll just replace all these bolts one by one with new bolts, so we won't have to worry about those breaking. Okay. And it does look like the old ones are getting a little bit rusty or something. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so let me just check to see if they have replacement bolts for these things as well. Okay, well, that's what that bolt looks like. Let's see if I have extras of these. Okay. And it looks like I do. See that one inside that bag right there is an exact match. Okay. So let me get these guys out and I'll replace these bolts up in front. Okay. Okay, so here's our new bolts. And just replace those. Okay. That one came out of here someplace. Where was that? I think it was right there. There we go. Okay, so that one's new. I'll take out. There's 3 of these bolts in there. Remember, this is the camshaft sprocket on top here. And oh, those things are falling on my hand. Okay, so let's just get these bolts out of there, and I'll replace them with new bolts. Okay, there we go. Put these in my pocket maybe, so I don't get confused with the good ones. Let me get these in place. I gotta readjust my stuff. It just fell down. Okay, again, see, it's these bolts on this cam. See, I got the bottom one out. I'm replacing these bolts here. And you can't see it very well if I got my hand in the way, but anyway, look at that 3rd bolt back in there. And so we'll have all new bolts in this guy. I gotta find the threads. It's like doing a puzzle blindfolded almost. You gotta reach in there and get her done. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now I replaced all 3 of these bolts, and I still left these loose enough so that this can rotate some. See that? I'm gonna put this in the middle of its travel. And I'll put this one in the middle of its travel. And I think the next step is to try to put the timing belt on. I'm going to put it on before I put that last pulley on, because that last pulley is going to tighten things up. And last time it was a little bit difficult getting the timing belt out, so I suspect it might be a little bit difficult getting it in. Let's go take a look at the timing belt. Okay, well, again, I'm not going to use these bolts because I didn't take the engine mount out. Alright, those are to replace the engine mount, but I didn't have to do that. So, okay, so we got our last pulley and our timing belts. And here's our brand new timing belt. Look at that. Oh, that is so beautiful, huh? Let's see if I can get it more. Okay, there's our timing belts. Okay. And again, they recommend starting the timing belt down here, but you know what, I might feed it in through the top and make sure I get it around the sprockets, because I'm doing it a slightly different way, and it seemed like this was the bottleneck of getting the timing belt in there in the first place, so I might try to get it past this guard up here, and then fasten it down on the sprocket for the crankshaft down here, and get that aligned, and then try to realign it at the top, because this was a real pain to get in there before, from what I remember. And this is the hardest part right here. You have to kind of loop it. Here, let's see what we can do. Loop it through here and get it. See, there's a real tight guard back there, so that's one of the hard parts to get it through. So I'll try to loop it into there and get it all positioned. Let's see what I can do. It's going to take 2 hands. So there we go. Let's see how we can get this in place. Okay, so as I suspected, this is kind of the difficult part. You gotta get, oh yeah, see, I'm going under that metal thing down there. You gotta get that belt around, see the crankshaft right there. It's gotta go around the top here and behind this metal guard, and then there's a little tab down there, so I gotta get it above that. For some reason I got loop below that, and then you gotta go above the tensioner pulley. So let's see if we can get that lined up. And I think we might be golden once we get it past this part, because that was the hardest part of getting in there past the engine block when I was pulling it out. Okay, there, look. See, I had to rotate that positioning pin there a little bit, and then I got it above that metal thing. So it's above. It's below the sprocket, above the metal thing, and above our tensioning pulley down there. And so I think, let's see, this belt is in this position here. And I think the next thing is I'm going to try to take this part and loop it down. Okay. Got to get it above that pulley and loop it down to the cam down there. I want it above the tensioning pulley, and loop this other part all the way down without hopefully bending it or crinking it too much. You don't want to damage this belt while you're installing it, that's for sure. Okay. Try to feed it down below. Oh gosh. Let me work on that a little bit. See if I can feed that down. This part's got to loop down around the camshaft, or the crankshaft. Okay, actually I just had to kind of gently twist it a little bit here, and now it looks like it is feeding down into the abyss. Okay. And of course, in the end process, we want it around all these pulleys, so maybe I'll get it kind of positioned. You know what? I'm going to have to get it on the crankshaft first, I think. Let's get it on the crank down here. Okay. There we go. You want it on that side of that tensioner pulley, and get it around the crank here. Like so. And I'll see if I can get her kind of lined up there. So remember, it's got to go under this pulley, around the high pressure pump up here, and then above this pulley here, and it's also got to go on the water pump down there. Okay. Oh man, this is so fun. Okay, let me get it above this pulley there. There we go. I think we're getting close. Above that pulley, below that pulley, on that guy, the high pressure water cog, the camshaft, and oh, it came off this guy down here. Okay, anyway, let me fiddle with this. Maybe I'll get these in a line and then try to slip it on the camshaft at the bottom and line things up. And if it's not lined up, we need to get these in the center of their travel because they need to have some play so we can tighten them into the right position. They need to be set in the right position actually before we tighten them. And if they don't have enough play to turn there, then we need to undo the belt and retry it again. Okay, so let me fiddle with this. Okay, so here we got it around our camshaft back there like it's supposed to be above the tensioner pulley. Let me kind of get this in place there. Above this other idler pulley, below this idler pulley, and looped around this high pressure water pump. And try to get these in the center of their travel before I attach it to, hopefully, I don't have it around the water pump yet. I'm trying to get some slack here. So see, it's on the wrong side of the water pump. See if I can loop it down over this guy. And it is tight. Okay, I'm gonna have to see what I can do. Okay, so I was getting some trouble with slack, and so see that here's the tensioner pulley over here, and then there's a metal thing. So you got to feed the pulley down. Let's see if we can see this better. Either feed it down on that side of the metal thing. See, I had it on the other side. So see, there's a metal thing in the middle that kind of separates these two belts. And you got to get that side of the belt on that side of the pulley, or that side of the metal thing, and this side of the belt on the other side, or it's not going to fit in there right. And of course you want to make sure that that tensioner pulley has like edges on it to keep the belt in place. And so you want to make sure that that belt is around those edges before we try to slip it on things. And again, I'm trying to keep this cog here and this other cog here in the center of their travel, so I'll have some room to get the belt in the right place if once things are tightened up, because you don't want those to be out of place. And here we go. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh. With that, we have just about enough slack to get it around this guy. And again, I don't have it around the high pressure water pump yet. But let me fiddle with this. Maybe I can get it around both of these. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay, so it's going around the teeth of that guy. And I think we're getting close. Just trying to push that in a little bit. And then, oh, look at that. And of course, the last thing is getting around that pump up there. I think once I get it around this pump, we could be golden. Oh gosh, it is really tight. There's the high pressure water, or yeah, that's the water pump right there. And I might be able to grab it from up here. Maybe I can grab it from up here. Maybe slip it on those gears down there. But it is a little bit tight. Anyway, so I think we're getting close to being in the right position. Oh, that guy's near the end of his travel. I might want to loosen it up and put him in the center of the travel again. We need room to adjust this once the belt is tight. Okay. So I may have to undo this and redo this a few times until I get both that guy and that guy, this guy up here, in the right position and get the belt on. Okay. How much fun. Okay, so I readjusted this guy down here and this guy and kind of pulled the pulley back and forth around these guys and make sure that they're both going to the end of their range at the same point, because you don't want that one to be at the end of the range and this one to be in the middle or something, or at the other end of the range. You want them to be able to both rotate to the ends of their ranges so you have more play when you're trying to line this up. And then I put them both back, rotated the whole belt with these cogs in place so that they're both in the middle of their play. Yeah, and let's see if we can slip this guy back on here again. Come on. Okay, well, let me need two hands to get him on there. Okay. Oh, come on. Anyway, there's the crank part of the pulley, and we'll crank part of the belt, and we'll try to see if we get a little bit more slack. Oh, maybe it went around the maybe it's around the water pump. That's why I'm not getting the slack. I might have to pop it back off the water pump down there. Yeah, see, it's on the water pump. I'm going to pull it off the water pump and try to get it on the crank. See if that will give me a little bit more slack. There we go. Okay, get it off the water pump. It's off, hopefully off the water pump now. And we'll see if we can. Okay, that gives you a lot more slack down here. Okay, so there we go. We got that there. These will. Okay, so this moved a little bit, but I think when you put the water pump, when you tension these different things, it pulls these pulleys back and forth. So it looks like it's pulling it back toward the end of its range again. So let me fiddle with this some more and hopefully we'll get this in the right place. Okay, so again, I repositioned this pulley so it's more in the center of the range and made sure they both have the same travel. This guy here and that guy there, because they kind of can slide together. And I got this belt on here most of the way. Okay, look at that. So here's the crankshaft, and all I have to do is loop that around the water pump up there. And I might try to grab it from the top, because you can reach in through here and try to pull it around. And it is tight. I'm not gonna tell you wrong, but it's gotta be done. So the belt is not around the water pump, so I gotta pull that. I take that belt and pull it around that water pump and get it in place. I think if I can't do that, there is a trick to loosen up this pulley a little bit more by sticking the tensioner pulley. Okay, I think everything else is in place and kind of tight, so we're getting close. Okay, I think I'm going to try a new strategy, because every time I try to tension that pulley, it pulls slack on this side of the belt, which has been rotating this to the end stop over here. So I'm going to rotate this guy all the way back the other way, so hopefully when I loop it over that pulley, it will maybe rotate into the center, because it's pulling slack on that side. Remember, it's going to rotate all the gears on the top this way. So let me just get this guy back on again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so he's on, and everything's on except for that water pump. Let's see, this is at the end of the travel that way, but as I pull the water pump, see, it rotates that gear back. See, I'm pulling the water pump. So I guess you want to maybe start it toward the end of travel that way, and and then as you try to stretch the water pump on, it will rotate back to the center of its travel. So let me see if I can get that water pump on. Oh God, this is such a pain. Let's see. Okay, see, it's the belt's got to be pulled over the water pump there. Okay. There's where we are. So let me try I'm going to use two hands to try to get in there and do this. Okay, I just developed a secret ninja move to get that belt on. I twist my hand backwards like this, grab onto the belt and pull it this way, and I think it is on. It is on. Look, we have this in the center of its travel. The belt, let's see if we can get down there again. Over the water pump, look at that, it's over the water pump. And it's over the cam, over the water pump. Okay. Over top of that pulley, under that pulley, right? Around the high pressure pump up here, around the camshaft, and on the tensioner pulley. And I believe we have all these things in the center of their travel. Okay. And again, remember, make sure that is at top dead center, that thing there. Should be already if you got the pins in. Okay. And I think we're looking in pretty good shape now. Wow, look at that. Okay, so let's get the last pulley on there. And here is, here's the nut for the last pulley. And it looks like I got my torque wrench on there. I believe that is, where is it? Half inch. Looks like a half inch fits that. And I don't think there was an official torque setting for this, but people on the internet were recommended 19 foot-pounds. And so we'll try that. And let's get our last pulley out. Okay, so there we go. Got our pulley and our nut. And let's see if we can get this on the car. Okay, so, and we have our belt in place. And here's our pulley. And I'm going to try to just push this belt over, like so, and get that pulley on there. Then we'll put the nut on. God, this is so much fun. Look at that. Okay, there, look at that. Okay, so there we got our pulley on. Looks good, huh? And here's our nut that was supplied. Oh gosh, it's really hard to get my hand up there like this. There's something in the way. Okay, there we go. Oh God. Okay. So we got the nut on. Try to get it as tight as I possibly can. Then we'll get our torque wrench. I'll just try to torque that up a little bit. Oh gosh. Here we go. Okay. See if we get our torque wrench in there and tighten this thing up. Oh, come on. I got the 6-point socket on there, so it's a little bit harder to get it lined up. I think I got it on there. It must not be tight enough to start ratcheting yet. There we go. Okay, so again, There is where our torque wrench is. And should make a clicking sound when we, oh, there we go. Okay. So I think we got that on. That last pulley there. Things are looking good. Okay. And I'm still keeping an eye on the coolant because I think it rained, but there's some wet under the car. And this coolant level went down a little bit, but it could be because I completely drained the coolant out of the engine and it's just kind of seeping back into places where it should be. I hope it's not leaking. Otherwise, I may have to take all this back apart and reseat the water pump. I'm not really seeing any leaking around it, but we'll keep an eye on that as we assemble this. Okay. So I think the next thing, I think I got all the pulleys in place. And the next thing is to do the tensioner pulley, which is down there. And that has to be located just right. Okay. And then we'll tighten it up. Okay, lots of fun here. Okay, so to do the tensioner pulley, we're going to need a 6mm Allen wrench. Okay, and I believe it's a 15mm. I'm using a wrench. I'm not sure if I can get the torque wrench in there. I'm just going to use this initially, at least, to tighten up the nut. See, there's a nut. Okay, let's take a look down there. So there. Here is our tensioner pulley. See if we can see this any better. Okay. And there's a nut on the end of it here. And then there's a little hex head. You probably can't see it, it's in the back of it. You're going to have to stick the Allen wrench into that hex thing and rotate this around, and there's some kind of indicator. There's like a little arrow thing. This little arrow thing here, let's see, the arrow thing is supposed to go between these little slots over here, so we got to rotate it that far. See, arrow thing here goes to little slots over here. Okay, and oh, my stuff's falling down, so I'm gonna have to rearrange it. Okay, so I kind of rotated the center of that pulley thing around by hand. See, this Allen wrench thing has got to go into this little Allen socket on the pulley. And there, see right there. It's got to be oriented just right to fit in that hole. And gosh, it's so close. Oh, I don't want to drop it. Let me try to get it in there. Oh gosh. It's going to be one of the hardest operations, I think, the whole process. Getting that Allen wrench in that socket. Okay, let's take a look down there. So it looks like I got it in there finally. Just kind of feeling around in there. See, that Allen wrench is in that hex head thing. And now I can hopefully grab onto this and rotate. See that pointer thing? Oh, I guess that's not the pointer thing. Where's the pointer thing? Should be a pointer thing that rotates. Okay, so the way I had the Allen wrench before, it was kind of rotated this way a lot, and I was not able to torque it around enough to get that pulley in the right position. So I need to get the Allen wrench rotated more toward the top of where the pulley's pointing. See, the pulley's pointing that way. And I was trying to get it in there, and get it on the hex head, and the center part kept on rotating, so I rotated the pulley clockwise as much as I possibly could and then tighten it up. And now see if we can get the Allen wrench on. See if we can get the Allen wrench on in more of a top position so I have more room to crank it. Either there's 6 different ways you can get the Allen wrench on because it's a hex head. Alright, so I'm trying to get it on more toward the front of the car, like so I can have room to rotate it. And it was a pain because the pulley kept on rotating downward the opposite direction that I want it to when I'm trying to get it in the hole. So we'll see. Yeah, I may need to use both hands to try to get it into that hole up there. Gosh, what a pain. See how that's where the Allen wrench is. I'm trying to get it in a more forward direction so I have room to rotate it back toward me this way. Get that pulley in the upright position and tight. Okay. Okay, there. I think I might have got it in a more upright position there. Okay. And I did lock down the pulley because it kept on moving, so I'm going to get my, okay, see that? The Allen wrench is in a more upright position now, so I have more turn to torque it, more room to torque it this way. And I tightened this bolt because it kept on rotating around when I'm trying to get in there. And so let me get my wrench and we'll loosen that bolt back up. Let's see, righty tighten, make sure I don't drop that Allen wrench while I'm doing this. There's not a lot of room to get in there. And I'll just loosen it up a little bit, and then we'll see if we can rotate this pulley back up into the position I want it to. And then once it's up there, okay. See, now I got more room to rotate it. It's still really hard to turn though. Let's see. Okay, see that arrow starting to come back to where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be between those 2 slots there. Let's see if we can get a better view of that. Oh my gosh. Right there. Let me get my camera down there a little bit better. Okay, so that's about where we want our arrow to be. Zoom out. So there's the pulley. And so maybe, they said you should have it maybe a little bit tighter because it's going to loosen up. So a little bit more to the right hand side. So I'm going to get it over there to closer to the right hand side. And see how there's a little slot, and that arrow thing is right in the middle of the slot. We'll get our 15mm wrench while I got it in position and tighten it up. I'm going to need 2 hands for that, so I got to put the camera down. Okay, there we go. Maybe that's a little bit better view of it. So I'm getting a little bit to the right hand side of that notch because they said it will loosen up a little bit as you rotate the engine. And so we'll get it closer to that side. And let me get my 15mm socket in there, and we'll tighten that up in position. And I'm going to hold both of them when I actually do the tightening because I don't want it to loosen up. But there's the bolt on the end of that guy. And we'll just tighten her up. And let me put the camera down because I don't want to lose this position now that I got it. Okay, so there we go. And so I have it tightened up with the arrow pointing at the very edge of the right hand side because they've told me in other videos that it will loosen up as I rotate the belt around. So we will see. Next thing I need to do before I rotate the belt around is tighten up all these bolts. Well, I gotta find the torque spec for that. I'm gonna try to torque that up if it's possible for me to get a torque wrench in there. I'm not sure. It may not be. And if not, I'll just try to torque it up as well as possible. And the next thing to do would be to torque both of these sprockets here to the right setting using our special tool. And then I guess I can take out the pins and try rotating the belt around and see if I can get everything lined up back again and see if that does in fact loosen up. I may leave that Allen wrench in there in place because oh, we'll see. I may get in the way of the torque wrench, but it was a pain to get that Allen wrench in there like that. Okay. Okay, so as far as I can tell, the idler pulley I set to 19 foot-pounds, which is what one source on the internet I found said to do. And seems like it's a standard size, what, 5/8. There we go, 5/8 socket. Okay, I'll tighten that up until it clicks. Okay, so we got a torque wrench here, and I got the torque setting set to about 11 foot-pounds, and that is for our water pump. These 3 bolts on here, and it has a star drive, which is, let's see if we can see it, 10 millimeters. And oh, we also have this special tool here. This comes with the let's see if we can take a better look at that. Okay, and this is to counter torque our sprocket. Let's get this open a little bit. Okay, so these things can go into, there's little nubbins there, and they can go into those holes like so. There we go, and we can use that to counter torque our sprocket while we tighten these up to the proper setting. Okay, I think I might need 2 hands to do that because I'm going to have to grab onto this with one hand and torque this with the other. And okay, so let me torque those up, and then we'll go on to the cam. Okay, torque that up like so. Get these things tightened up. Okay. Okay, and there you go. Okay. Okay, I guess I can hold this with my camera hand. We'll just torque that up while I tension this up here. There we go. There's 11 foot-pounds. And so I got the one, and I'll get the other 2, and then we'll move on to the cam over there. Okay, very cool, huh? Okay, so now I'm gonna get this special tool here. Okay, into the cam sprocket up there. And oh gosh, I gotta lift up this other garbage here. And let's get these. Ouch. Get those pins, those holes there. Okay, so here's our special torquing tool. Those pins into those holes down there. Come on. Ah. Okay. Come on. Get in those holes. Okay. And we'll use that to counter torque. Okay, I think I got them in pretty much. Okay, so see you down there. All right, let me feed them in completely. Okay. Okay, and so here we got our torque wrench all set up. Okay, so this is a let's see, where is it? Come on, where is it? 13 millimeter socket. See that? 13 millimeters. Okay. And I set it to 18 foot-pounds. And let's try to torque up those bolts on our camshaft here. I'm gonna have to prop this stuff out of the way. See if I get one of those bolts. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to brute force these things out of the way. Then we'll get this on the socket on the nut. And we'll use this as a counter torque so we don't stretch the belt. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I got our counter tensioner here on, and I got our torque wrench on one of the bolts there. And I'll try to, let's take a look down here. See if we can see it from this side. I don't know if I can. Okay. There we go. So much fun. And let's just try to tighten this up a little bit. So we hit our, of course we can use this to counter torque that guy. And I'll just tighten her up until we hear the click. Oops, I gotta use two hands maybe. Get that a little bit tighter so it will ratchet. And we'll get all three of those bolts tightened up. Okay, and there we go. Let's pull on it, and there, okay, we hit the limit. And so the first one's tightened up, and we'll just tighten those other two up down there. Okay, and then I think we'll be good to go. We'll take the pins out and run the belt around and make sure it lines up again. Okay, I'm going to tell you that I think I can't get that third bolt with the torque wrench. It's in the down position. I've torqued the two upper ones, and they're torqued to the 18 foot-pounds. And I think I might just end up turning the belt a little bit, and I'll take out these pins maybe, take out the alignment pins, and manually turn the belt around until I get that third bolt up at the top, and then I should be able to torque it with the torque wrench once it's up at the top. So with the engine mounts in the way, there is not enough room to get the torque wrench in there to torque that bottom of the three bolts. Okay. So let's try that. I think maybe I'll take out these pins and we'll try rotating the engine a little bit, rotating the timing belt, and we'll rotate it about halfway so I can torque that other bolt. So here's the pin for the water pump. I'll pull that guy out. And then after I get it all torqued up, I'll rotate it all the way back around and make sure the pins line back up again. Get this guy out. Oh, yeah, this guy's such a pain in the ass. Okay, let me move this stuff up all the way. Get in there. Pull him out. Okay. Do that. There we go. Wow. Doesn't want to come out too easy. See that down below? Okay. Pulling that other pin out. Come on. Ah, there we go. Okay, so there's our two timing belt pins. I think I might just try rotating that belt around, and I gotta take this thing off also. And we'll see if that tensioner comes back into that little arrow thing that we're looking at before. See if that comes back into place. we'll tighten up that third bolt and make sure these pins go back in after it makes one revolution. Okay, should be interesting. Okay, so here we go. Here's our final locking mechanism down here, and just undo these bolts here. Take that guy off. Okay, so let's take this thing that's locking the cam off. Okay. There we go. Come on. Okay, I'm going to put this back away so I don't lose these parts. So if I ever have to do this again, have everything all together. And I'll get my special sprocket or socket that goes into that pointy thing. That's 12-point star. And we'll try turning this around. And yeah, see, there's top dead center right there. And we'll turn it around and we'll see if we can get this finished up. Okay, so here is our 12-point star. That is a, where is it? M14. Let's take a look there. Okay. M14. Okay. And let's just get her done, I guess. Put that into the crankshaft like so. Oh gosh. And we will turn her clockwise, I guess. There we go. And I'll just see. We should be moving stuff up here. Things should have moved in position. And we'll keep on rotating that until we get our other screw toward the top, and we'll tighten that last screw up on this guy, and then we'll go all the way around, and I should see if that pointer's been moving. Remember that pointer on the let's get this stuff all the way. Oh, look at that, the pointer moved a lot. It dropped way down, so I may have to loosen up the pulley tensioner some more and tension her up some more and twist the belt a little bit more and see if it stays in position. See that? The arrow, I did have it a little toward the high end of that slot, and now it's moved until it's way loose. So this, probably the belt was skewed a little bit, and now it's getting into the right position. So I'll try to tighten that up again some more. So I'll probably loosen up this bolt down here, and see, I left the Allen wrench in there, so I was afraid I might have to fiddle with this some more, and it's hard to get it in there, so I just left it in. Okay, so let's fiddle with this some more. Okay. Oh, here we go. See if I can move this with my foot. There we go. See, turn the crankshaft and all these things move. It's like a bunch of gears. Okay. I think we're getting that bolt back there up toward the top. So I'll be able to tighten that one up with the torque wrench. Okay, so good news. I think I rotated that bolt up enough that now I can get the torque wrench onto it back there. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, so now you need to get that green spanning thing in there, the counter torque it, and we should be able to torque that last bolt up to 18 foot-pounds, okay? That'll be all set with as far as those bolts go. And then I'll have to redo the tensioner of the tension pulley next. Okay, so I loosened that bolt back up on the tensioner pulley, and I still have that Allen wrench in there. So we'll see if we can tighten this thing back up again. That arrow goes right between those lines. I'm gonna try to get it a little bit higher. I'm gonna get it toward the high side, and then we'll try turning the belt some more and see if that thing loosens up again. Okay. Okay, snugged it up a little bit more, and it looks like it is now kind of toward the top side. And we'll try tightening it up a little bit, and then rotating the belt some more and see what happens. Okay. Okay, it's a little bit high, but I'll twist it some more and see if it goes down. If it doesn't, I'll have to loosen it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, I rotated the belt some more. It still seems a little high, so maybe I'll have to loosen up that nut and loosen up the tensioner a little bit. And I'm about halfway around. See, I'm coming up almost to where that pin's going to go in the front one, but this one's, remember, the cam turns half as fast, so it's only about halfway around. Let me loosen that up a little bit more, and we'll see if we can get that in the right range as we rotate the belt. Okay, loosen that nut up again, and we'll just get in there. Try to move that back into the middle of the slot like so. Okay, I think that's pretty close. It's kind of toward the upper end. Maybe I'll knock it down just a nudge. Let's see, where is it? Okay, that's looking pretty good. So I'll just tighten her up again. It's right between those two slots. Okay, so I rotated the belt some more. And it looks like that arrow thing is now kind of staying in between the two slots. It's a little bit on the high side, but probably close enough. And let's see, how are we doing? Okay, that guy's past its position. This guy is past the bottom, and he's on his way up. So we'll just keep on twisting them until we get them both into position to put the pins back in, and we'll make sure everything lines up again after one revolution. Okay, so it looks like I can get this pin back in. I got that one lined up. Let's try sticking that in there. Okay, because this was the easiest one to get in first. I did that last time. Oh, I might need to fiddle it back and forth a little bit to get that pin in, because they're always really tight. And let's try to get that one in. Okay, looks like I got that pin back in. And it doesn't seem to be exactly at the top like it's supposed to be. Or am I just looking at it wrong? Thought that was more at the top before. See if we can get the pin in the back one there. If not, I may have to start all over. Put this thing back on too. Okay. Okay. It was tight, but it looks like I got both pins in after revolving it around once. When I say once, I'm talking about the camshaft revolved once. So I think all the pins. Well, let me try putting the last thing in down here and make sure that that's all in position. And then we should be good, set to go. Okay, so I got this thing back on there too. So it looks like they're all in place. So it looks like it went one revolution and I was able to get all the pins back into place. So I think, and let's look at our tensioner arrow. Looks like it's about in the right spot. Okay, so I think we might be good to go. Okay, so it looks like I was able to get both of the pins in place and all the way in. And I this is after rotating the belt once all the way around. The arrow looks like it's a little bit on the high side maybe, but it's still kind of within the marks. So I think that might be good. Maybe I have to loosen that up a little bit. We'll see. And this is in place down here. So I think everything is still in alignment at least after one rotation. Okay. Let's take a look down there. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit high, but it depends on what angle you look at it from. Okay. Maybe I'll loosen that up a little bit. Okay, so maybe I'll take these pins back out and get it ready to close up, because I think we're good to go. Wow, these things really fit tight. And this back one is kind of a hassle to get to. It's not too bad. I'll get them out of there, and then we'll try to tune up the tension a little bit, get it more between those marks. Okay, so here we go. I've been tweaking it up, and it looks like it is now within the gap that it's supposed to be within. And I think I'll just tighten this up and take that Allen wrench out, and then we might be ready to put the cover on this bad boy. And I don't know if you remember the first half of this video, but it was a nightmare getting that cover off. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to get it back in, but we'll see. Okay, so I've been turning the crankshaft over a few more times and readjusting this pointer thing. Now I think I finally got it in the middle of those two notches there, or in the middle of that notch. And so I think we're good to go. Let's test this out a little bit more before I put it together though. Okay, so I think it's time to put this cover plate back over the belt. And it was a pain to get it out last time. I think I had to lift all the cables up and kind of bring it in from the back. You have to bring it down like that and get it between the motor mount and the pulleys. And this pointy thing was a problem. Have to lift up, since I didn't disconnect any of these hoses, you got to lift them all up and get it in there. And then there's latches here, and let's see, some other place. There's some latches, I know. And so anyway, I've turned the belts around a couple times. It doesn't seem to interfere. I was able to stick the pins back in. It looks like the pins all fit back in as I turned it around. And I was checking to make sure that there's no coolant leaking. tighten up the water pump a little bit more. And I think everything's good to go. I want to make sure everything's good before I took out my Allen wrench and the idler pulley down there, right? Make sure everything's out of there, and we'll try to get this cover plate back in there. And it was a nightmare getting it out, so we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I'm in process of getting that in there. I had to kind of feed it in, make sure that tab is in front of the engine mount, kind of feed it in back behind these hoses, and this hose here was very tight. I had to get this end down through this hose, and now it looks like I got it kind of under the hoses. I'll try to get it in place over the belt, and we'll see if we can get that cover completely in place and locked in. Okay, so the next hard part is the same hard part that I had before. I don't know if you can see up there's like a little pointy thing, and I think it's on the wrong side of the engine mount, this plastic cover. And I had to kind of bend that and get it from the back side into the front side so this whole plate can move forward. And it's hard because all these hoses are kind of on top and pushing it down. So I think I had to bend that little, it's like a pointy part, corner at the bottom of this plastic cover. So I'll see if I can get that to seat over on this side of the engine mount, and then maybe I can move this whole plate into place. So right now it's kind of stuck back here, like so. Okay, there, I got the triangle part over that hump there. And I think now this whole thing is free to come into place. Yeah, see, I want to get this under the latch there. There's a latch on the front, a latch here. I think there's a latch on the back. I got to get that lined up as well. Okay, yeah, there's one kind of underneath on the back. You can't see it, but it's on the downside back there, the back corner. If you can feel down there, there's a third latch. I'll try to get all those lined up and get this cover latched on over our timing belt. There's one latch, two latch, and the third latch is kind of on the bottom back corner. Okay, it looked like that cover wasn't seating properly, so I kind of pulled it out and moved it around, and looks like it goes on the inside of that metal thing back there. I wasn't sure if it goes on the inside or the outside. And was able to get these latches in place. There we go. One, two, and the third one you can't see. It's down near the back corner. If you reach down there, you can definitely feel it. Okay. And that one's in place as well. Oops, there we go. So I think we have the timing belt cover in place. And see, I prop up this stuff off to the side so I can get under there and work on it. Okay, we might be good to go. Oops. Let's take a quick look under here and see what it looks like. Okay. I guess there's that corner comes down. And there's our water pump. And this stuff still is exposed down here. Remember, there's a pulley that goes over top. I think it's this thing. You know. Okay, so I think the next part to put on is okay, so I think the next part to put on is this cover here, and I'm thinking that those are the screws that go with it. So let's take a look down here. It goes up over that guy. Get this up in there. Take a look. that, because okay, let's look at it from the top. Trying to get it in there. Maybe I have to loosen up this cowling that I put on up here first. I think it might have to go under that. I don't know, it's having troubles getting it the seat in there. So we'll see. It's like a Chinese puzzle or something, putting this thing back together. Maybe a German puzzle. It doesn't have the same connotation though. Okay, so here's our part right here. And might be able to finagle it around from up here. It looks like it's not seated properly still though. See, it's at an angle. And God, I hate to dislodge this plastic thing because it was such a pain to get in there. But let me see if I can get that into place. Okay, so I think I was able to get that into place, that cover down there. Okay. There we go. And I think the top tab of it's got to go under this one, so that was not easy to try to feed it under there while it's still in the engine mount. Down here. Okay, looks like the screws might be close to lining up. Okay, let me see if I can get some of those screws in. And I believe these are the screws because I saved everything. We'll see. There. In there. Okay. And there's one over there, and then there's a third one kind of in the top. Let me see if I can get those lined up and in. Okay, so I'm going to actually get the top one in first. So I got that one in. And I think there's another piece maybe down here. I got to check to make sure that those bolts don't hold more than one thing in place. There's another piece of cowling that goes over the camshaft. See if I can get that out. Again, I let the car sit so long, the battery's been got charged down, so I'm going to try to recharge it a little bit. Still good. Okay. You'll see this thing right here. Yeah, and I think those two bolts might hold this thing on as well, so you might have to wait on that. Wait on these other bolts. See, yeah. This goes on something like that. And so probably that bolt also holds this thing on, so I might have to wait. I'm putting this one in until I get everything lined up. Okay. I'll try to get this guy in place here. It goes there. I guess he probably goes under there like that. And then, oh yeah, see there's another bolt there. Okay, so yeah, he must go under here like that. And that goes under there like that, so these two are held on with the same bolt, it looks like. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, let me fiddle with this, I guess. Okay, so I got that bolt on, I got the top bolt, still a couple more bolts to go in here, and And we should be done with this cowling part. I can put the pulley on and start putting on the serpentine belts. Okay, so again, this is a 10 millimeter. See if we can see it on here. Where is it? Okay, right there. Okay, so again, this is a 10 millimeter socket, and let's get these things tightened up. Okay, I got 4 bolts here. We'll just get this plate on place, and we can start putting on the pulley and get everything else all buttoned up. Very cool, huh? Okay, so we got our torque wrench set to 18 foot-pounds, and that's a 10 millimeter star, and these are my new bolts here, 10 millimeter star, and here's our pulley, and we'll get this on there and lined up. It looks like there's an alignment pin right there. Okay, get that lined up with the hole. Let me start getting these screws in there. Okay, I'll get the rest in a second. Okay, so here we go. We got our torque wrench here, and there we got all 4 of the bolts in. And let me get this in there, and we'll torque this thing up. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. 18 foot-pounds. And we'll just torque all the rest of them up. Doing it the same way. Okay. And we'll get that situated on, then we'll figure out what the next step is. Okay, so it looks like we may be coming to the end of this project. I think this is the last belt type thing that I have to put on, and then I just button up the stuff. But, oh, very exciting, huh? So here is our serpentine belts. Let's get this thing unboxed. And there we go, look at that. And this one looks all nice, no cracks on it or anything. Okay. And before I used a crescent wrench, but I think I'm going to use a socket this time to detension the tensioner pulley. And this is a 5/8, and let's look under here. And just make sure. See, here's our tensioner pulley. And let me zoom out a little bit so I can see this better. There we go. So now, let's see, I can use this ratchet. Oh, anyway, to loosen up that pulley while I get it on there, I'm going to get the belt mostly on. I think I'm going to do it exactly in the reverse of the way I did it before. And so I'm going to open up the top of the car and get my belt looped around all the pulleys except for maybe I think I'll do the cam one last, and then use the tensioner, loosen up the tensioner to get it around that one. Okay. Okay, so remember this belt goes over the alternator here. So let's see. It's just twisting fine. On. It wants to go back in the package, I think. Back in the package. Get this looped in there. And I'll just get it over the alternator first. And then I'll kind of get under here and loop it around this other stuff. So it wants to come down around the air compressor. And here's our tensioner pulley. Oh, no. Oh, God. Anyway, let me fiddle with that and get it all on the pulleys. And then we'll try to use our ratchet to loosen it up and get it on the last one, okay? Okay, so I have the belt over those top pulleys up there, like so, and around that one, and I think I'm just going to loosen this guy up and then loop it around the cam right here, like so. I need two hands to do that. Oh. Okay, new plan. I think I'm going to try to get it around the idler pulley last. Yeah, it's being a pain to get on. Okay. Oh well, try to do this again. Try to get it over that camshaft completely, and then loosen up this idler pulley here and loop it over that, maybe. Gosh. Okay, there we go. I got it over the top pulley, under that idler pulley, around that pump down there, that air conditioning thing, pulley. Let's zoom out a little bit. Come on here. Okay, there we go. I think everything is situated properly. It looks good. Okay. Oh, maybe we'll put the tire on and see if we can start up the engine. If it works, then I will, I guess, fasten all this other stuff that I loosened up back into place, and we'll be done. Put that cowling back there on, and we'll be all set. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. I got this kind of buttoned up. I fastened this thing so it won't get down into the belt, because that could be certain doom. And let's take a look here. Put the tire on, so if we do roll off the jack, the car's not going to crash on the ground. Replace the battery. Let's take a look here. Okay. I think we might be good to go. Fingers crossed. And look at that. Sounds like we're running. Good news. Okay, let me fiddle with it a little bit more, and I'll get everything buttoned up, and then we'll see how it works. I think we're all set though. Okay. Okay, so anyway, it took me about 3 weeks to do this, but saved me lots of money. So anyway, this is Dr. Janes, and thanks for watching.